7 years ago, I thought I had nailed it as an architect until I met this house. I bought it, I transformed it, and it transformed me. Now, this video is about what I did and what the house did to me. So when transforming houses like this, you can either go two ways. There's the one where you do a complete clean out, and there's the other where you try to preserve some of the style of the house. Now the risks here are, if you do the complete clean out, you might risk turning it into something generic, something like a standard house. Now the risk when you're trying to preserve some of the style is that it turns into a museum for you, and that you spend a lot of money and time trying to preserve some kind of detail here or there. So transforming a house like this, today we'd really like to get in contact with the outdoors, and that means dissolving the borders between inside and outside. And that border today is the outer wall. And the easiest way to do that is punch a lot of holes into the outer wall, and you get windows and you get doors into it. Now that's what I've done here, and what really helps me is that I have a garage building right up close to the house. So when I'm moving around in my house and I'm looking out of all of those windows I've punched into the outer wall, I see that garage shifting from window to window, making the windows and doors disappear and making that outer wall seem like it's just a row of columns. Now that's a fantastic way of actually dissolving that wall. Now, the other way of dissolving that border was something I didn't know anything about 7 years ago. When I came into this house, I discovered this color on the wall, this orange. And I wondered, how would you get to paint a color like that in your house? It's very flamboyant, it's very Charlotte's Lux, it's called. It's very orange, until I spent a few moments looking at it and looking out the window. Now out the window across the street on the other side, there are lots of rooftops, orange rooftops. Now those rooftops have the same color as the orange on this wall. So this wall draws it in. You see this connection between the orange on the wall and the orange on the rooftops. Dissolving that border, actually making that connection in your brain and in your eyes between the inside and the outside. Now that's, to me, a very subtle way of doing it. It's also a very inexpensive way of trying to dissolve that border. So I've used it throughout the house. The other effect I've been working on in this house is laying out the spaces. So I transformed this house from having smaller spaces into having one big main space. Now, in order to be able to live in that, I've partitioned that into smaller spaces. You have the kitchen, you have the dining area, and you have the sofa area where I'm sitting right now. And in that S-curve, I've placed smaller subspaces to each. So there's a place for granddaddy's chair where he can sit at Christmas, joining in on the whatever goes on in the kitchen, but not really participating. I put my chair I got for my 40th over in the other corner, and those are creating subspaces. So you get a multitude of spaces in just one big space, making it much more interesting to move about and creating a lot more places to actually inhabit, you would call it in architectural language. Places to sit, places to stay. So if you want to go about this in your own house, I would focus on those subspaces. They are probably already there, and they're pretty easy to get at. Sometimes they can be hard to discover, but have a look around and see if you can kind of enhance them with a small side table, a small lamp, a cushion, something like that. Now the other effect you might try is dissolving this border, just using paint. Go to the window, look outside, see what colors are out there, and try and put them on the wall on the inside. See what happens. It's only paint. You can always turn it into another color or paint it white again. Now that's all for now. See you in the next one.